Hey, it's Scott Dunnage Garage. How you doing today? You know, when you're adding roof lights, antennas, and solar to the roof of your rig, the challenge is always the same. How do you get the wires inside without creating leaks and having it look clean? Today I'm going to show you how I install a clean, waterproof pass-through on my Jeep's roof. Stay tuned. So what you notice to this point is I've installed wires and just ran them down the windows on both sides, and they just tuck in here, and that's worked for now. However, when I installed the solar, the cables are much bigger and I don't like the way it looks. Before we get started, let's look at the tools and equipment we will need. We'll start with a C-view pass-through fitting, a drill with the correct size drill bit, utility knife, silicone sealant, a basic screwdriver, and of course the wiring itself. Laying everything out on the workbench will make this go a lot smoother. On my particular install, I have to remove the bracket that holds the awning in place. The first step is choosing where to install the pass-through. You want a spot that's easy to access from both the roof and the interior, and I chose this spot because it avoids the factory bracing and allows me to keep the wires tucked out of sight once they're installed. To keep the roof from chipping while I drill, I cover the area with masking tape and mark the exact center point of each hole where it will go. This makes the cut cleaner and easier to control. Now comes the big moment, drilling through the roof. Go slow, let the bit do the work, and don't force it. Once the bit breaks through, I'll clean up the edges before moving on. Now, while this is not a concern for my Jeep, it may be a concern for you. Anytime you expose bare metal, it's important to seal it. Make sure you apply some primer along the edges of the hole to prevent rust from forming over time. And here's the C-view plate in place. All the holes are drilled. The tape is removed. A little touch of silicone or marine sealant has been added per their recommendation. Instead of using the self-tapping screws, I am using number 6 machine screws and lock nuts. And the idea for that is I just think it looks cleaner. This is definitely the point where a second set of hands would really be helpful. Now with the base mounted, it's time to install the outer cover to hold the seal in place. At this point, I need to access all my wiring, get everything measured so I can drill the holes in the C-view pass-through grommet. So now it's time to drill holes in the grommet and the roof. But I can't drill a hole big enough for the antenna, so there's a workaround we're gonna have to do for this. But I do have to cut my wires. Well, they worked when I started. So now I need to take my brand new solar cable and make it not so new. Hope I don't come to regret that later. Now with the outer shield cut, just simply slide that off, exposing the wires. Per the directions, you measure out your wire and then you measure out the copper drill bit and drill a hole. The directions also say each wire gets its own hole, and if the wire is too small for the copper to use a drill bit, the directions say leave space between each hole. I'm using just a little bit of soap on the wire and the rubber to get it through. All of these holes were drilled with drill bits, except for this one. This end one was drilled with the copper tubing, and that is the cleanest hole. The only reason why I didn't use copper on any of the other ones is none of it was small enough. Now I did have to enlarge that last hole to get the end of the WeBoost connector through. We've done it once here. What they say to do is go right above your hole, open up the rubber where you just cut, and feed it through. Now if you are working with brand new wiring, you shouldn't have to split it. But working with existing wire with existing ends on it like I am, that is a requirement. So I've pushed the rubber back in its place. Wires are fed through. Alright, with all the wires through, I'm going to pull all the slack through while I'm still able to do it before I tighten it too far down. Alright, it's the end of the day and we are waiting on tools so we can finish this up. And so with that in mind, we'll be back tomorrow just like this. Just like that, it is the next day and we're going to finish up this project. So let's get this going. Sure hope I get these right. That'd be kind of embarrassing. That should be it. Now to check, make sure everything works. Alright, the tools just arrived for me to finish the solar. Let's get this done. Alright, I cannot remember which one of these wires is ground and positive. So we get the ohms meter out, put the positive lead in, and see if we got continuity. Nothing. Tells me that's the ground wire. Let's double check. There we go. That's my positive wire. Alright, so I've triple checked to make sure this is my positive off the solar. Make sure this is the right plug. I've cut the wire down, probably a little shorter than I needed. Put the cap on. Here's the rubber grommet. Again, take my grommet and my wire. And once you start the crimp, you have to go full crimp on it or it won't release. That's not going anywhere. Take our end and again, it should snap in. And it did. Doesn't pull out. Put your ends together. There you go. And I'm going to an inner rail here. finish up, I clean up any excess mess, secure all the wires so they won't move around. The result is a clean, professional install that looks good and will last for years. And that's it, a secure, professional looking way to run your wires from your roof rack to inside your Jeep. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, you have yourself a blessed day, and remember, life's an adventure. Go live it. We'll see you in the next one.